This happened about 2.5 years ago, when my husband and I were renting an apartment in an old condominium in District 8, Ho Chi Minh City. The building had about 8 floors, and we lived on the 4th. Everything started around the 2nd month after we moved in. Every night, at extremely odd hours, sometimes exactly midnight, sometimes 1 a.m., 2 a.m., or even 5 a.m., the doorbell would ring. It was the type of doorbell connected to an intercom system, a kind of smart doorbell that allowed us to communicate from inside the apartment. But strangely, whenever the bell rang and we asked who was there, we never heard a response. When we tried to call back, there was no answer. About 5 minutes later, the bell would ring again. Some nights, it rang 3 or 4 times, spaced 1 or 2 hours apart. We even called the local police to check, but they didn't find anything suspicious. This went on for a whole month, to the point we couldn't take it anymore and decided to move. This time, we rented a ground floor apartment in the same building, thinking that being closer to the ground might bring more peace. But it didn't. Less than 5 days after moving into the new place, the doorbell rang again, at exactly 4 a.m. My husband checked the camera and ran out to look, but there was no one there. We called the police again, and once more, nothing, no one around. After that, the doorbell rang every few nights. It felt like someone was playing a prank on us, or worse, watching our family. One time, the bell rang at 1 a.m. I turned on the intercom and was shocked to hear heavy, raspy breathing, as if someone was standing right by the door but refusing to speak. My husband, losing his composure, ran out and flung the door open. But there was still no one there. I called the police immediately. They arrived in under 15 minutes but again found nothing out of the ordinary. No signs, no sounds, just a silence so eerie it made our skin crawl. Whenever we told our friends or neighbors about it, they'd shake their heads. "Were you dreaming? You're getting paranoid." No one believed us. They thought we were imagining things or making it up to scare people. Until one night, a close friend of my husband's, Hong, came over to hang out. There was a good football match on that night, so the 3 of us stayed up to watch. Around midnight, just as the game was getting intense, the doorbell rang. My husband and Hong went to open the door, still the same, no one there. Half an hour later, the bell rang again. All 3 of us rushed out at once, but again, there was nothing, just an empty, dark corridor. Suddenly, Huang's face went pale. He quickly pulled us back into the room and shut the door. After that night, Hong never dared to visit us late at night again. Then one night in mid-May, as the wind whispered softly through the door cracks, the doorbell rang again, not at midnight, 2 a.m., or 4 a.m., but around 1 a.m. I was too tired and frustrated to care, so I ignored it. But after a moment, I suddenly heard that raspy breathing again, so close it felt like it was right next to my ear. The breathing was uneven, as if someone had just run a long way. My husband heard it too and rushed to open the door. This time, I followed him, heart pounding. The hallway lights cast a pale glow on the yellowed walls. He opened the door, but again, it was just the dark emptiness. But on the floor, I saw a puddle of water. What was terrifying was that the puddle reflected the image of a woman leaning against the wall right there. Her appearance was horrifying. She wore a red outfit, her head tilted unnaturally to the side at a 90-degree angle. Then, blood started dripping from her head onto the floor. My husband and I looked up, but we didn't see anyone at the wall. Yet in the puddle, the woman was still reflected. I held my husband's hand and felt it ice cold, because he, too, started to see blood appear right where it dripped in the reflection. Even more horrifying, the woman suddenly lifted her head upright, and we heard the sound of bones cracking. Then she rushed toward us. My husband grabbed my hand and we both ran straight back inside. From outside the door, we heard her scream. Strangely, no one else in the building seemed to hear it. We locked the door tight and backed into the far corner of the living room, collapsing to the floor, our hearts pounding. The screaming faded, replaced by a suffocating silence. I turned to look at my husband, about to say something, when the lights in the house suddenly went out. Only a faint light remained, shining on a puddle of water that I had no idea when or how it had appeared inside. In that puddle, I saw her again, standing next to my husband, along with our 2 children.